Welcome to Making a Difference, AV Pride's TV series on underage drinking. I'm your host, T. Michael Body. Today we're going to address the rising problem in the United States that is underage drinking. And we're going to take a deeper look into the reasons why teenagers drink with different guests and activities. And it's going to be really interesting and really fun. We hope you stick around after these messages.
Make a difference. Prevent underage drinking.
Mom, why are you drinking so much? I'm the grown-up. I can do what I want.
No, I hate you!
Every year, over 900,000 children are abused by alcoholic parents. More than 10 million people ages 12 to 20 confessed to underage drinking in 2012. Annually, more than 1.3 million women are sexually taken advantage of while intoxicated. Drinking has consequences that affect more than just you. Next time, think about it.
For more information, go to www.didyouknowfacts.net.
Did you know that in Georgia, 34% of high school students had at least one drink of alcohol in the last 30 days? However, in Fayette County, 57% of students had at least one drink of alcohol in the last 30 days. So, Fayette County is 23% higher than the state average. Think, don't drink.
Welcome back to Making a Difference. I'm your host, T. Michael Body, and with me I have a very special guest, psychologist Dr. Susan May. Thank you for coming, Dr. May.
Thank you for having me, T. Michael. It's a pleasure to be with AV Pride in this important discussion.
Now, if you could you just tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do?
I'm a clinical psychologist, and over the years I've had the chance to work with kids and teens in settings from schools and community centers, and now at a clinical psych practice, a New Start Counseling Center in Fayetteville, which allows me to see a lot of kids and teens dealing with a wide range of issues.
Underage drinking would be included in such issues, of course, right?
Actually, quite often, yeah.
Well, do you have any personal opinions on why teenagers drink?
You know, the reasons are really diverse. I think often when I talk to parents, they're often citing the issue with peer pressure, which kind of gives this idea of the bad kids with no home training, kind of, you know, convincing the other kids to do it. Really, I often try to think of it more in terms of kind of the peer culture and the influence of that. And a lot of times that has to do really with even kind of some normal developmental reasons, which would include, you know, kind of as one is maturing, and growing up and leaving home, it's natural for kids to kind of get involved and test out things and experiment with peers and friends. That kind of combined with other issues that may have to do with brain development and certain personality traits, as well as sometimes kids having a tendency towards depression or anxiety. There are kind of other factors that can complicate it, but make them very vulnerable to kind of running down the road and trying drinking, and often drinking excessively.
I totally agree. There are very many reasons, and one you did mention is peer pressure. And on the subject of peer pressure, do you think that it's a large issue today, especially in comparison to, say, 10 years ago?
You know, I think peer pressure has always been kind of had the same role, again, in terms of helping us kind of figure out who we are. We kind of are going to test out things with peers, with those kids who are kind of our common age, and it kind of helps us figure out who we are and move along this path towards adulthood. But I think one of the things that's different in these days has to do with the whole digital peer pressure, the whole reality that, unlike me, where it's Debbie and Sharon and my buddies on the block, who I'm kind of, you know, influenced by, my volleyball team or whatever. Nowadays, kids are dealing with, obviously, their friends, the hundreds of connections on the Facebook, Twitter, and, you know, Instagram, not to mention the thousands that they can get connected through to with everything from chat rooms, Xbox Live, and so the magnitude of peer influence is much greater these days than it was even 10 years ago.
And it sounds like that comes from a sort of modernization today. And in terms of modern society, there's the internet, of course, with the Instagram, Facebook, and how you can connect with everybody. And there's also celebrities, television characters, and TV personalities in general. And do you think that they would play a role in teenage drinking just as well?
You know, I think there's no question, you know, teens always are going to look up to public figures. And when we see people in the media, it's very glamorized. These days, I think in the old days, you might have seen an older person, Dean Martin or somebody, seeming like they're drunk, and you can't really relate. But nowadays, you know, you have television programs from, you know, Jersey Shore and other things where these people look young, they look vibrant, they look like they're having a good time. And so certainly those people portrayed in the media as celebrities play a large role, and therefore also have some power in trying to have an influence in stopping it. I think, you know, when you're kind of talking about that, sometimes when, you know, children look at the media or look at the downfall that happens with some people from drinking and drugging, they'll tend to kind of dismiss it and assume that's not the reality that's going to happen to me. And they're drawn again to those things that seem exciting and cool, depicted by a lot of these people who get a lot of attention.
Yeah, and that sounds very accurate, but also it sounds pretty dangerous to me. And how it's that mentality that so many teenagers have is like, oh, it can't happen to me. It'll go with underage drinking, it'll go with drugs, it'll go with sex, it'll go with pretty much anything. And in terms of the dangers, what do you think are the biggest dangers of underage drinking?
You know, the dangers are numerous, and in fact, I'm going to come back to another part of what you said in a moment. Teens are in a very, very vulnerable stage. We know that the brain is really developing well into the 20s, and because of that vulnerability, and studies are really just starting to give us an indication as to how the earlier we are exposing, children are exposed to alcohol, the greater likelihood that they're going to have problem drinking in the future. We don't yet know what the damage is really in terms of even the structure and the cell development in the brain. So at a time where learning and preparing for adulthood is really so important, to introduce alcohol in the mix at that time. If you think about it, when a mom is pregnant and we learn that alcohol can cause birth defects and things along that line, and so we do not want to drink. And yet at a period of development where teens are having so much change happening, so much development going on, we're also, you know, putting themselves at a great deal of risk and exposing themselves to that. You know, the other thing that comes in terms of danger, obviously, is another thing in this period, because of where the brain is, kids are naturally going to take risks. And in some ways, what we know, even from what we might call like an evolutionary way, like just the survival of the human species, there's going to be an age where children are looking to explore, take risks, get a charge out of some of these kinds of things. And if you could imagine a time when, you know, I don't know if you ever heard of that phrase, kind of go west, young man. But, you know, nowadays, if somebody was going to say, go west, I ain't going west. You know what I mean? I don't know what's out there. Or if somebody had to go hunt or even going off to war, there are certain things that to have a willingness to be able to take a chance, to be curious about something that might be slightly dangerous is actually kind of normal. But what we want to caution is the fact that the judgment is so impaired that very often it could lead to other risk behavior, speeding, you know, and making decisions where your inhibitions are down that you wouldn't be proud of in the morning. In addition to those kind of dangers, we also have the things that just affect academic performance, the relationship with your parents, relationship with friends. Many of those kind of things obviously also are negatively affected by the teen drinking.
Well, yes, I do agree that the dangers, all of those will fall under the category of danger, is what I'm trying to say. And I think it's very important that people my age in my high school would understand these dangers and understand how it can damage so many things, not just your reflexes or your brain development, but your relationships too. And just making that decision is, of course, a risk going along with every other risk that we would take.
True.
And I think it's very important for us to realize that as teenagers.
No
but
question.
that is our time, and thank you so much for your insight. And we will be right back with Did You Know?
Did you know one reason kids drink alcohol is because they believe most of their friends drink? Among 13 to 17-year-olds in Peachtree City, 90% believe kids in their grade drink alcohol. 90%. In Fayetteville, 86% believe kids in their grade drink alcohol. Think, don't drink.
Make a difference. Prevent underage drinking.
Glass and steel flew everywhere. My whole body seemed to be turning inside out. I heard myself scream!
17% of binge drinkers are teenagers. Drinking kills dreams.
Suddenly, I was awakened. It was very quiet. A police officer was standing over me. My body was mangled. I was saturated in blood. Pieces of glass were sticking out all over.
Nearly 72% of students have consumed alcohol by the end of high school, and 37% by 8th grade. Drinking kills dreams.
Strange that I couldn't feel anything. Hey, don't pull that sheet over my head. I can't be dead. I'm only 17.
Young people who drink are more likely to be involved in self-destructive behaviors. Drinking kills dreams.
I'm waiting for you.
For more information, go to www.didyouknowfacts.net.
Did you know in Fayette County there is very little education about alcohol, tobacco, and other drugs after the DARE program in 5th grade, with the exception of once per year Red Ribbon Week programs and occasional mentions of alcohol in health classes? Think, don't drink.
Oh, Sarah, what time's your party tonight? About 7:30. Okay.
Hey, Cookie, how come you weren't invited to Sarah's party tonight?
Sarah's having a party?
Yeah, Nora said there are just going to be some girls and their parents aren't going to be there.
Oh, I wouldn't go to that if you paid me. That's kid stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, I think somebody just cut that out.
Hey, let's go to this party, too.
What do you mean? Crash it?
Yeah, why not? Hey, let's do. We know everybody there.
I'm in. Oh, I don't know.
Oh, come on. It'll be lots of fun. We'll just stop by for a while.
Well, okay.
Great, I'm going to bring me some brew.
Beer? Where you going to get it?
Oh, I'll grab it out of the fridge from old man's not looking. I do it all the time.
Cool.
Listen, I left out plenty of food for you kids. Oh, and there's frozen pizza in the refrigerator in case you feel like that, okay?
I want your girls to be asleep when we get home. It'll be late. Agreed?
Agreed.
Good night, huh?
Good night.
Good night.
Hey, man, don't be doing that. Somebody might see us. Big deal. So I'm having a little beer. So what? Here's Sarah's. Come on. Wow, what a dull-looking party. People, they need us.
Hey, I'm not too sure I want to go to this. It's a dumb party anyway.
Come on.
Let's go.
Come on, Cookie. Just for a little while. Come on. Hey, Sarah, what's happening?
Sorry. Girls,
Allow me to provide some refreshments. Ta-da!
Hey, out of sight.
Courtesy of Freddie's fridge.
Hey, nobody said anything about drinking. This is my house and my...
Oh, it won't hurt. Make you relax. Be real cool. So how about it? Want a drinky poo? Huh? Oh, come off it, Sarah. How about you, Cookie?
Yeah, sure, Freddie.
Come on, everybody. Relax. Have some wine. Listen to some music. Have a blast.
Hello and welcome back to Making a Difference. Right now we're just going to have a little group discussion and we're just going to go around and introduce ourselves.
Hello, I'm Tania. I'm Satika. I'm Brittany.
And I'm Alec.
And I'm your host, T. Michael Body. Now let's get this started. Thanks for being here, guys. I got just a few questions for you. First one, do you think that peer pressure is a big issue with teenagers today?
Yes, I would think so.
because peer pressure is everywhere, and especially in teenagers, since we're talking about underage drinking. And if, for example, if my friends are drinking and I'm the only one who's not drinking there, my conscience would tell me that they don't like me or I wouldn't fit in, so I would probably go ahead and drink with them. So I'm pretty sure like peer pressure is a big factor.
I feel like it's large today, although it's very unspoken and it's not necessarily something that you see. So nowadays, it's not really a spoken type, drink this or like go do this or else we're not going to be friends with you. Like you can't sit with us. But I feel like it's more like a mental thing that the person imposes on his or herself or him or herself. And it's just like they think that if I don't do this, they're just going to like exclude me from everything. So they bring it upon themselves.
So basically it's like kind of indirect peer pressure. So you think that they're going to like kind of say something, so you do it anyway because you feel like they're not going to talk to you.
It's like it's related to your mental thing.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to reference with you, like I've had tons of people come up to me and ask me for some, and I was like, nah, I'm good. Even though, and I've lost friends because of that. Right. And I was like, it's my choice. It's my life. I don't want to ruin it just because of someone peer pressuring me to do it.
Well, you made a good choice.
And it's like I can wait and have fun until I'm legally allowed to, at least. And like and then it's more fun because you know it's legal and you're allowed to do it and at least have fun with it. But
also when you hit that age, you're more responsible.
Yeah, you're more responsible, and it's just, and you know what you're doing. Like you know better how to deal with it and everything, and just like that. And
decision making.
Yeah.
Well, do you think that peer pressure is a bigger problem today than it was about 10 years ago?
It's pretty balanced, don't you think? Yeah. I mean, 10 years ago, it's not that far back.
It's not.
It was like 2003, I guess.
2003.
So it's pretty balanced. But I would say that right now, maybe we know about it a lot because we have lots of technology developed, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter.
Instagram.
My bad. I don't use those things. Is it Instagram?
Instagram.
Instagram. Okay, there you go. So you can tell I don't use it. So I would say it's worse now because, well, not really. It's balanced. Like I said, it's balanced because we know more about it because of these technology.
I feel like it's pretty equal. It's just communicated differently.
Yeah, like
it's not necessarily a face-to-face thing, you know. It's more like a through Instagram, Twitter, and stuff like that.
I think it was more like 10 years ago. It was more verbal, but now it's more kind of expected. Like it's kind of
it's become normal.
Yeah.
It's become the norm for a teenager to drink, and so it's just like go ahead. Like everybody does it.
Yeah,
like it's just a normal thing.
You don't have to worry about it
but then you just kind of were like, oh, let's do this. Like let's hide from our parents and drink and stuff, and
you didn't even have to hide though.
Yeah, but now you don't really have to hide. Your parents know, and they kind of accept it more.
Yeah,
I think now
they don't try to stop.
Then they would have.
And you see like people like they get off with like not a lot of punishment and stuff, so just like, oh, like it doesn't matter then. Like if that's all I get, then whatever.
And
and it's not right because like your parents, they're your parents. They should teach you from right and wrong.
Right.
Yeah, but I think, and that's part of the peer pressure thing. Like you aren't told that you can't do it really as much anymore, so you kind of go along with it and you go ahead and do it.
Yeah, like you're told
and
it's
so
exactly, but you don't get it.
Especially in this county, you're told for one semester in 9th grade in health class, and after that, it's just over. Nobody ever tells you not to do it again.
Yeah.
Well, what are some of the dangers of underage drinking? I know we all know them, but let's kind of break them down, like right now.
Oh, dangers clearly is just unsafe, especially underage. Especially since we're not fully developed in the brain or mind.
Rational thinking.
Yeah, like you're already irrational.
Yeah, we're already irrational enough. I think it would make you even more irrational because you're just doing it. Like you just do everything. Like, and I think like one danger is a girl can get pregnant because she's not thinking. It's like, oh, you know.
But like,
death.
Yeah, it puts a whole bunch of people in.
I mean, the thing is, if you tell a teenager not to do something, they're not going to just not do it unless you tell them why. You tell them the whys and hows.
And especially your parents. If your parents tell you not to do it, it's kind of, most teenagers are like in that rebellious part where I can honestly say if my parents tell me not to do something, that's not going to stop me.
Right.
But I'll go ahead.
Because I said so.
Yeah.
I need reasons.
Yeah, and they don't give you any reasons. They just tell you no because I told you not to do it. That's why. And I feel like if I were to have more of an explanation on why and it was gone over, then.
Yeah, because I don't think most people see like the ugly side of drinking. They only see the glamorous type side. So like there have been cases where like you basically put other people's lives in danger because that one person drank. Like I know there was a case in which a teenager, he drank and he basically beat this guy to death, and that guy was married, he had children, and he was prosecuted on it. And like, I mean, that's dangerous, but you never really think that that would happen.
And I think people need to see that.
Does anybody else have any stories?
I know I have a friend, and he is only like 16 or 17, and he's already an alcoholic. He's dependent on alcohol. He drinks it every day, and he has a liver problem. And he has a liver problem, and his doctor told him to stop drinking because he could die. And I think that's horrible. Like someone so young could possibly die over something that shouldn't even be doing it.
Right.
So, but
it's just, I don't know, it's just making that life decision and like actually assessing the total picture. Yeah.
And thank you guys so much for engaging in this discussion. You guys provided a lot of insight, and I think that is our time, and we will be right back after these messages.
Did you know another reason kids drink is that there's a low perceived risk of arrest? When asked if someone under 21 were caught with alcohol, would the police give them a ticket? A high percentage of kids said no, they would not get a ticket. Think, don't drink.
Make a difference. Prevent underage drinking.
Mom, why are you drinking so much?
I'm the grown-up. I can do what I want.
No, I hate you!
Every year, over 900,000 children are abused by alcoholic parents. More than 10 million people ages 12 to 20 confessed to underage drinking in 2012. Annually, more than 1.3 million women are sexually taken advantage of while intoxicated. Drinking has consequences that affect more than just you. Next time, think about it.
For more information, go to www.didyouknowfacts.net.
Did you know adults are more disapproving of their kids using tobacco than they are of their kids using alcohol? Think, don't drink.
Is this your first time? Let's see you get wasted.
I'm not gonna get wasted. What are you talking about?
Our society winks at it, and we sort of say it's okay to have a drink.
Yeah, join the party. All right. It's never too early to start drinking.
They'll get from like older brothers or like friends, what they call hookups.
Let's sleep upstairs. Let me mark the Bible. You guys, I'm fine.
Are you kidding?
Fine.
She's trash.
No, you guys, I'm really fine. Hello.
One young person said to me recently, if you're not going to drink to get drunk, why bother?
Alcohol is the #1 drug of choice for young people in this country.
First of all,
the problem has to be brought to the forefront of public consciousness. Until the country really begins to think about it, we're not likely to do anything about it.
Parents, don't believe this myth. All the other kids drink alcohol, so I also need you to fit in. As a parent, it's important for you to stay strong and help us to understand the facts. Most young people don't drink alcohol. In fact, research shows that more than 70% of kids aged 12 to 20 haven't had a drink in the past month. Explain that if you really want to fit in, we should stay sober. Talk to your kids about the dangers of underage drinking today. Parents, if not now, when? If not you, who? This message was sponsored by the Council on Alcohol and Drugs and the Department of Behavioral Health and Developmental Disabilities.
Hi guys, how's everybody doing out there? The Anxious Athlete here, Dennis Simsek. Thank you so much for stopping by, blog number 3. I wanted to talk today about the relationship between anxiety and alcohol. Definitely not a good mix, and try to stay away from alcohol if you're a panicky person like I was. Basically, the reason that I used to run to alcohol and why I used to have drinks and stuff was to kind of get a retreat from my what-if thoughts and a retreat from my physical sensations and my embarrassment and my shyness and stuff like that. So just for those couple of hours that I was drinking, I felt absolutely awesome. I felt invincible, and I felt like the person I wanted to be. And the person who I was back, a number of years ago before my anxiety and panic started. But that quick fix really did not help me in the long run. The days after were a complete mess, to tell you the truth. It was some of the worst days I've ever felt, and if you guys have any experiences with your hangover and your anxiety combination, I'd love to hear about them as well. But I remember days where I'd get up in the morning and I would have breakfast with some friends, and I would be running to the washroom back and forth in a panicky state. My sensations were out of control. The dehydration that I was feeling, my blood sugar level, the lack of sleep, everything that combined with an anxious person was a very, very bad combination. So I would run to the washroom during breakfast and just, sit on the floor and pray to God what's going on, and hoping that it would be all over, and I would just fight this thing like crazy. It was tough, and I would just count the minutes to getting out of there and just getting to the emerge and talking to someone or surfing online or something like that. Basically, the anticipation of that the next morning was what really hurt me in the long run. I knew that from my past I didn't deal with the next couple days after I drank any kind of alcohol in any kind of amount. And I felt that coming on, and I grew scared of that, and I feared it a lot.
Make a difference. Prevent underage drinking.
Mr. Alcohol, how do you feel about yesterday's convention?
Oh, it was great. Really successful.
Mr. Alcohol, do you know there's a 14-year-old boy with permanent brain damage? You make it seem like everything will be better, but in the end you make it worse. So why should you continue voting for you?
What? That's crazy. I changed lives.
Did you know that there is now a teenager handicapped due to drunk driving?
Look, if there is a problem, it's the young people. I don't vote for myself, Am I right or what?
Yeah, you are.
Vote no for alcohol. We, the students of Lovejoy High School, disapprove of Mr. Alcohol's message.
For more information, go to www.didyouknowfacts.net.
Did you know school officials and teens both feel that alcohol awareness programs currently in schools are ineffective? Both audiences suggest there is a difference on what students are told about alcohol and their own experiences. Think, don't drink.